Hey everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and I get asked this question a lot on stream. What cards should I keep that are rotating to wild? What should I keep? What's safe to disenchant? What should I not disenchant? What's going to see play? And I mean, it's a rather subjective question. I can't answer like 100% safely that these are the cards you should keep, but I'm going to give you my opinion on what cards you should keep. So the way I'm going to break this down basically is I'm going to say what cards you absolutely should keep, like 100% I feel like will continuously see play unless something big happens. I will then say what cards you should think about, like maybe it's just a type of deck that you really enjoy and you at least the card can still see play in a few decks, or maybe just one specific one, but you can think about keeping. And then the cards that you should definitely disenchant. Another guideline for this is I'm only talking about legendaries and epics. Rares and commons, the dust value is not, I think, significant enough to talk about. And I'm only going to talk about cards that saw meta play at some point. So I'm not going to be talking about like, oh, you should definitely disenchant Duskfall and Leviana. Of course you should. It's terrible. But I'm only going to talk about cards that have seen competitive play in at least like a tier 1 or tier 2 deck over a certain period of time. So let's start with the cards that I feel you should keep. We're going to start with the Mage Epic Book of Specters. 2-mana draw. 3 cards. If they're minions, you keep them. If they're spells, you discard them. This card is very popular in Quest Mage and in Reno Quest Mage, and those are two of the best decks in Wild at the current point. And until balance changes happen, I don't see that changing. So for now, I would definitely keep it. Don't disenchant it. Yeah, save that one. Next, I would keep Shudderwalk. Yes, the card sees no play right now for the most part. But Shudderwalk Shaman's always really close to being decent. And honestly, if Quest Mage wasn't oppressive right now, it'd be a decent deck. And I think down the line, with all the battle cries they will continue to make, Shudderwalk will just get stronger and stronger in Wild. I feel like it's one you should just definitely hold on to if you want to play that long-term Shaman game. And it could very well become broken. I feel bad disenchanting that one. You know, it's a lot of dust, but I think he's worth holding on to. Next, I will go with the Warlock legendary, Lord Godfrey. This guy is just insane. One of the best board clears ever made for Warlock. 7 mana, clear the board, develop a 4/4, can get through death rattles, can do insane stuff. Has seen played in Q-Block, Control Warlock, Reno Warlock, Mill Warlock, like almost every Warlock deck you can think of. Just absolutely keep this card. He's fantastic. Next is a Warrior Epic Town Crier. 1 mana, 1/2, draw rush minion. Sees a lot of play right now in the Galakrond Warrior, which isn't super popular, but it's a very good deck. And again, it's a card that's just going to get better over time with more rush minions made. This card's always done some work in Warrior, and I think it will continue to do so. Don't think you should get rid of this guy anytime soon. Next, we have Azalina Soul Thief, the neutral legendary. It's only a 7 mana 3/3, and you get a copy of your opponent's hand, but it's so good in a lot of decks. You can run it in the Togwaggle Druid, Odd Warrior, and basically anything where you want to tech against a combo deck where you might want to steal their combo. It's just a very versatile card and will continue to be useful in a lot of control decks and a lot of combo decks. That's your style. Definitely keep it. Just a really good card. Next, we have the Mage Legendary Stargazer Luna. 3 mana, 2/4. If you play the card on the right side of your hand, draw cards. Absolutely insane card. Basically auto-include in Quest Mage. Very good in Secret Mage. Good with Pocket Galaxy. You can play it in Reno Mage. You can play it in so many different decks. Very powerful card. Will always find a place in a Mage deck. Don't get rid of this one. Next, we have Stormbringer, the legendary spell for Shaman. This one it's just a really strong, powerful spell in even Shaman. And then on top of that, you can play it in meme decks. Just a fun card. Probably, you know, if you're not into that style, don't keep it. But I just think it's a very strong legendary spell, and you probably would regret disenchanting it down the road until even Shaman changes, you know. And then we have Dr. Boom Mad Genius, the hero card for Warrior. Really good in Odd Warrior. You can play him in Dead Man's Hand Warrior. Just a solid card. And again, yes, Quest Mage and all that stuff makes it kind of hard, but right now, but I think down the road, Dr. Boom will find a place. 7 mana, decent hero card, good in Odd Warrior. Just hold on to it. I think it's a little too soon to get rid of him. Especially, just got his nerf reverted, right? And in the same vein, we got Super Collider, epic weapon for Warrior. Again, just auto-include 2 of these in your Odd Warrior deck. You can play it even in like an armor deck. Just a very solid card, good utility card, and it's just always going to be decent. It's been since it's been made, and I would be surprised if it doesn't down the road. Next we have Snip Snap, the neutral mech legendary, 2 mana, 2/3 Death Rattle. Summon 2 1/1 Microbots, and he has Echo, and he has Magnetic. Very powerful card, really good in the aggressive Paladin decks. And, you know, you never know what's going to pop up. They did nerf him, so he can't cause there. You still don't have Snip Snap Warlock, but very good in basically any mech deck ever until the end of time. And you can still throw him into your, like, mid-range deck or whatever just to fight for boards. So, really good card. Definitely does Disenchant. And this guy just goes without saying, 100% don't disenchant Ziliax, the neutral legendary. One of the most popular neutral legendaries ever in 50% of standard decks at the moment. And he sees a lot of play in Wild. Don't disenchant him. Don't be stupid. It's an insanely good card. It goes in every deck that, like, someone, just don't do it. Don't. Lastly, the last one I would definitely not disenchant is another neutral legendary, and that's Mecha'thun. 10 mana, 10/10 Death Rattle. If your deck contains no cards, you have no minions, and you're holding no cards, and this dies, you win the game. He's enabled in a lot of different decks. Mecha'thun Warlock, Mecha'thun Druid. You can even do Mecha'thun Paladin. There's so many possibilities, and yeah, Quest Mage gets nerfed and they overlook like Bloodbloom and stuff. Well, then Mecha'thun Warlock's top tier again, and there's other decks you can play him in. Just the ability to win the game with one card is just absurd. Shouldn't really exist, but it does. So hold on to him until, you know, maybe a nerf happens. I wouldn't get rid of him yet. So those are the cards, the epics and legendaries I would definitely keep. What would I think about? What are, like, just considerations? Like, these are cards that, like, does it fit your playstyle? Would you miss it too much? So what would I think about? Well, Rat Trap is a Hunter Secrets. It's epic. If your opponent plays 3 cards this turn, get a 6/6. It's still pretty decent, like a Reno Hunter, a Secret Hunter list, a Spell Hunter list, but doesn't see much play right now. But he usually pops up, and you can punish things like Quest Mage that like to cycle a bunch of cards. So you can think about it. Then we have another Hunter card, which is the legendary Houndmaster Shaw. Really good in like a Reno Warlock deck, things like that. Sees some limited play, but again, these decks are very weak right now, so if you're kind of hurting for dust, you might want to think about disenchanting him, but if you want to keep him, you might do some good down the road. And then we have a Mage Epic Arcane Keysmith. It's like a staple in like Reno Mage, and some people run it in Reno Quest Mage. It's a decent card. Lets you fight for board and maybe counter like a combo deck with like Push and a Polymorph. Something along those lines. So, does some good work, but again, sees limited play, kind of fringe, but can always pop up and can always be valuable. Next, we have Baleful Banker, along the same lines as the prior cards. This one's a neutral epic, though. But Baleful Banker, kind of like a staple in like Reno decks, Reno Lock, Reno Mage. Again, the decks aren't very powerful right now, but Baleful always kind of finds a way. And you can go even like infinite with Shutterwalk and things like that. So, a lot of cool things you can do with the card. You might want to hold on to it if you like that style of gameplay. Next, we have Phlebidinous Floop. 4 mana, 3/4, summon a copy, or basically you copy the last minion you played. This has seemed like no play lately, but it used to be a staple in like a Liner Druid. You got more stuff. It's just, the card just, there's always so much potential with this guy. Yes, you have Oaken Summons, which kind of negates it right now, but I don't know. It's just a legendary that could see play down the line. Maybe it's just, I'm nostalgic towards it. Literally have no reason for you to hold on to it, but I'm nostalgic. There's a chance he might pop up. You might regret it, but he's probably one you can safely disenchant, but I'm throwing him here anyways. Next, we have Juicy Psych Melon. This card you want to keep if you like playing Tog Druid. And even then, I'm not even playing my current Tog Druid list, so you want very heavily consider this one. If you really like Tog Druid, you keep this card. You could play a Liner Druid, you could try, but if you want to go down that nostalgia road of those decks, you might want to keep on Psych Melon. Otherwise, you want to scrap it. And then we have Luna's Pocket Galaxy, the Mage Legendary spell. All your minions in your deck cost 1. Really greedy card, really slow card, but it can do some insane crap. It's seen play, it's in Reno Quest Mage, Jacket Rank 1 Legend with it. You can play it in regular Reno Mage. It can do some stuff. It's just not optimal, but you know what? It's only going to get better as more insane minions are made that you want to cheat out. So it's one that you definitely want to consider holding on to. Next, we have the Rogue Legendary spell, Myra's Unstable Element. This is a staple in Kingsbane Rogue, where you want to just be flat-out aggressive, buff your weapon, and then just draw your deck and try and kill your opponent over the next few turns, and you avoid fatigue by shuffling the weapon in. Doesn't really see play in Odd Rogue. Never really has. It's been experimented with. I guess it just isn't good enough. But if you really like the Kingsbane Rogue deck, you might want to keep it. Or if you want to like meme with Pogo still down the road, it's a good keep. But other than that, you probably want to ditch the card. Next, we have the Shaman Epic Thunderhead. This is one that sees some play in like even Shaman. If the Overload package is worth it, but the Totem package is kind of overridden it right now. But I still think it's worth considering a keep. It's an insanely good card. It's just there's a lot of things contesting with it. So if you want to get rid of Thunderhead, go ahead. But you might want to think about it just because of how strong it is in this mid-range and even decks. So yeah, think about it. Then we have the Solarium, the Warlock Epic Legendary spell. Draw 3 cards and discard them at the end of your turn. Staple in like Mecha'thun decks where you can make it cost 0 and you like Solarium and nuke your board. And in Zoo decks, but Zoo is just not good in Wild at all. So if you're considering keeping it, mainly for the Mecha'thun implications, Zoo, not really worth it. So if you really want to play Mecha'thun Warlock, hold on to it. Otherwise, I just ditch the card. Then we have Zul'jin, the Hunter Hero card. It recasts every spell, or at least up to 30 probably. I think there's a cap, but whatever. You're never casting that many spells you've cast this game, and you get a new hero power you can target with 2 damage. It's good with the reverted nerf to Call the Wild. We're getting that new 10 mana epic spell that could be really good with the big stampeding guys. And he sees some play in like Spell Hunter and like Reno Hunter. He's not bad. Is it worth keeping? I don't know. It really depends on you if that's the kind of deck you want to play. But outside of that, it's not like a tier 1 deck or tier 1 card. But it's solid. You can play it and do some stuff. So you can think about it. And last, we have Mojo Master Zihi. He is a neutral legendary, and he is just a tech card, really. Some people ran him like Jade Druid to like try and counter Mecha'thun was really popular. It's basically there. Yeah, you want to just kind of stop a combo deck on turn 10. You throw out Mojo Master Zihi and try and kill them over the next few. Other than that, if you're not really worried about legendary tech cards, get rid of them, get the dust, but at least keep that in mind. So, lastly now, we have the definitely Disenchant. The cards you just do not want to keep. They're not going to see play in Wild, and I just can't see it anytime soon. So, we have the Druid Epic spell, Whispering Woods. You get a 1/1 for every spell in your hand. Way too slow in Wild. All the token aggressive decks are cheap vomit cards. You're never doing this. It's never seen play in Wild, and it never probably will. Yeah. Next, we have Hagatha the Witch. 8 mana Shaman Hero card. It does 3 damage to all enemies, and then you get a random spell for it. Doesn't work in Shudderwock typically. It clunks your hand. Doesn't work in any real deck other than maybe Big Shaman, which hasn't really seen any play in recent memory. Just not really good. Random spells suck. The effect's not good enough. It's just not good enough. Don't keep it. Then we have the Warrior Legendary Darius Crowley, 5 mana 4/4 rush. I believe it's overkill, or if it kills a minion, it gets +2/+2. It's never seen play in Wild. It's just too slow. Doesn't do enough. Not worth your time. But it did see some play in Standard, so I threw it on there. Next, we have Dream Petal Florist, a 7 mana 4/4 Druid Epic. Discounts a random minion in your hand by 7. Yeah, it was really good at Mali Druid Standard, but we have Aviana Kun, we have Emperor, we have better stuff. It's just Dream Petal has always been too slow in Wild and will always continue to be too slow in Wild, so you can get rid of them. Then we have the Hunter Legendary Boommaster Flark. It's a 7 mana 5/5, summon 4 Boombots. It was a staple in like Quest Hunter, in Mech Hunter, in Standard, but even in the Wild Mech Hunter, it's too slow. And it's just always going to be too slow. And Quest Hunter's not a thing, so don't keep it. It was good in Standard, but just Wild, it can't keep up with the pace. We have Crystal Smith Kangor, a 2 mana 1/2 legendary for Paladin. Doubles your lifesteal. There's better 2-drops. There's no such thing as Control Paladin or Combo Paladin in Wild that's realistic to win games. So, safe Disenchant. He's just not really a viable card. Speaking of not viable legendary cards for Paladin, Kangor's Endless Army. This resummons 3 mechs that have died this game. All the mech strategies in Paladin are much faster and run a lot of tokens. And this guy's not good in that. And you don't want to be playing a greedy mech Paladin deck in Wild. If you want to win games, that is. So definitely Disenchant him. Then we have the Priest legendary spell, Xeric's Cloning Gallery. Once a staple in the Cloning Gallery Priest. Has basically seen very limited play in Wild outside of like Resurrect Priest. It's just, if you're playing a Resurrect deck, there's just so many better cards to play. You have Essence, you have Barnes, you have all these things. Just don't play Gallery. You don't need it. You don't want to keep it. Take the dust. Then we have Electra Storm Surge, the Shaman 3 mana 3/3 legendary elemental. casts this spell twice in a row. Just doesn't see play in Wild. Just really hasn't. Even in like the Shudderwock lists, you rarely ran it. I wouldn't recommend it. The best thing you can really do is like Electra, Farsight, and a Shudderwock deck, and I don't think that's worth keeping the card for. Then we have Subject 9, the neutral legendary. It's a 5-mana 4/4 beast, and it draws, I believe, 5 secrets from your deck. All your secrets? Not sure. Doesn't matter. It's always too slow. Secret decks aren't that good outside of Secret Mage, and they don't need this card. Even like Reno Hunter, you're probably not playing this card. You don't want to go that all in on secrets. So I wouldn't hold on to it. Just not worth it. Then we have War Druid Lodi. This is the Druid Legendary. It's a 1/2, and you get to discover all the different forms. I'm not going to go over them all, but it's a staple in like Quest Druid. Really good there, but even in Wild Quest Druid sucks. This card without the quest has never been playable, and will continue to not be playable, and I don't think it's worth keeping. Then we have Jonalai the Dragonhawk. This card has not seen play in a while, eh? Forgot it was even a thing. It's a 7-mana 4/4, and if you've dealt, I believe, 8 damage or something like that with your hero power, you summon Ragnaros. It was basically built for Baku in Odd Mage, and it saw play there. But even in Wild, Odd Mage sucks, and you're not going to play it Odd Mage, and you're not going to run this card. It's too slow. Not good. If you haven't disenchanted it, which I would be surprised you haven't, do it now. It's not worth keeping. Then we have High Priest the Gaul, Paladin Legendary 3-mana 3/4. Reduce your health down to 1, and then translate the remaining into armor. Even with the Molten Giant combo, this card's like never sees play in Wild. And it did see play in Standard, like the Control Shell with Shirvala, but it just, even with the Molten Giant, it's not good enough. Like, it's just not a consistent high roll. I just wouldn't hold on to it. If it's not working now, I just don't see it ever working, so I would ditch it. Next, we have, speaking of Shirvala the Tiger. It's a 25 mana minion. It's a 7/5 lifesteal minion, and it costs 1 less for the mana you spent on spells in the game. And yeah, Shirvala just doesn't see play in Wild. It's too slow. You're not doing the Holy Wrath thing. You're not doing the big Paladin thing. It's just not worth it. It's a good card. It's a cool card, but in Wild, just doesn't make the cut. Then we have Boomsday, the Priest Legendary. 7 mana 7/7, draws all 1-cost minions from your deck. A staple in like Combo Priest. And like some greedy like Res Priest ran it with like Spirit. You're not doing that in Wild. Don't bother. Just get rid of it. It's not happening. Then we have Zentimo, the 3-mana Shaman Legendary. It's a 1/3. Targets 3 minions, or targets the minion and its neighbors. Can be friendly, enemy. Staple in like not Evolved Shaman, but like the Galakron Shaman. It's just never seen play in Wild, and I don't think it will. Too slow, too clunky. Cool card, but nah. Just take your dust. And lastly, this guy was like a tech card, and I actually know TK card in Druid for a little bit. That's Hakar, the Soul Flare, puts bloods into your opponent's deck. Decent card, but in Wild sees absolutely no play. Really doesn't have a purpose. Are you really going to try and counter Mechithun with this? You're going to try and rat them or something. Don't play Hakar. So you can safely disenchant Hakar. So that's all the cards that I feel you should keep, you should at least think about, and the ones that you should definitely disenchant. If you have any like epics or legendaries you're not sure about still that I didn't list, let me know in the comments. I'll try and answer. And yeah, hopefully this helps you out with the standard rotation happening in like a day or two. This might give you an idea of what you might want to disenchant for what legendaries or epics you're missing from your pack opening. So good luck with that. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day. Stay salty, my friends.